I'm spraying a pan here. It's just a little small. I'm not going to make a big pie, but I'm going to make my homemade crust, and I'm going to make the whole recipe because I can use it later for something if I don't need it today, which I won't need all of it today. You have to put, you've got the recipe here if you want to show the people what that is. Call it out.
There is the pie crust recipe. Oh, no, you're not making your own pie crust? No way.
Yep.
That's a little shout out to some people that didn't like the store-bought crust. But here's how it looks.
If you look right here, this is all-purpose flour. That means it don't have salt, it don't have baking powder, it's just plain flour, all-purpose. White Lily is the kind I use. I love it better than any other kind. It seems like it's lighter. You want 4 cups of White Lily all-purpose flour. And when I'm measuring my flour, I stir it around in my little bin so it'll be lighter and fluffier. There's 3. And here's 4. Now we're going to add a teaspoon of salt. Just level it off. Take a spoon and just stir it around. You want to make sure that that salt mixes up in there. A wire whisk would be good to do this with. I'm just going to hurriedly do it with this. To this, we're going to add 1.5 cups of Crisco. Now this, I don't know if you've ever bought Crisco sticks or not. They're wonderful. If you've never bought them, they already measured for you. 1 stick is a cup, so this is 1 cup. And then we're going to take 1/2 stick. And if you'll look, they measured it out for you. See here? There's 1/2 cup right there. So we're going to do 1.5 cups. To this. Now you can use a pastry blender if you have one. You can use 2 forks to do it, but I'm going to use my hands. I've sanitized my hands, so I'm just going to start moving it around, mashing it, and incorporating it with the flour. You want it to be about the texture of cornmeal. Well, not really cornmeal, but little pieces, you know. Don't put both your hands in it. Have one with your bowl so you can just turn it around. You can do this in the mixer, but this is just so convenient for me to do. It's crumbly. If you find a piece that's not mashed up, just mash it around. See, it's just real flaky, crumbly, almost incorporated perfectly. It takes 1 cup of water for our pie, so I'm going to put some ice in here. It takes 1 cup of ice water, so now I'm going to put in water. I'm going to fill it up to 1 cup. Slowly add the ice water. Don't put the ice, just the water. Then you start stirring it around to combine, or in a minute I'll put my hands in here. I'm just so used to doing it with my hands. You just sort of press it together. After you get this made together, let it rest while you're making your berries or your filling that you're going to put it in. You don't want to work it, you just want to combine it with that water. Almost there. Almost in there, see? Just a little bit more to push in that. And we're going to let this rest while we make the blackberry filling, okay? I'm going to put a towel over it and let it rest. This is a good many blackberries, and I don't really think we're going to need all of them for this little bitty pie. So I'm just going to use X amount and rinse them off. They've got ice particles on them. Making sure they're good and clean as well, because this came out of my daughter-in-law's garden. Pour them into a little Dutch oven. And I'm going to add some water to cover them. Turn it on and let them start cooking. I'm putting 1 cup of sugar. There went our timer. We're going to let it cook for a little bit and put a little butter and then come back and taste it to see if it needs more sugar or if that's enough. Now my blackberries were not really sweet, so I had to add more sugar. And I'm just telling you, when you make this pie, taste of the berry and the juice to see if it's sweet enough for you. If it's not, then add some more sugar. And if, just put a cup to start with. I've got too many berries here for my little pan, I guess. So I may have to make 2 pies, huh? Alright, I put 2 tablespoons of butter in here. Now I'm going to make the little dumplings to go in it. Sprinkle your counter with just self-rising flour. That already has the salt. And then we're going to take some of our dough and just patty it out like this. Start it pushing it together. You don't want to overwork it. You want to cover it with flour a little bit because you don't want it to stick when you roll it out. Put a little flour on your rolling pin. This is a rolling pin my husband made for me. Made out of a dowel rod, and he put some kind of finish on it to keep it from to keep things from getting into it, and I could use it again and again. Now you say, well, you got a lot of flour on that thing. Yes, I do. You want a lot of flour on it because when you put it in that mixture there, it's going to thicken that juice. And you're going to just cut it off and drop it in there and let the dumplings cook for about 15 minutes before we put the topping on it. I'm putting a little bit more flour because I want flour to go in here to thicken the broth. See? This is a knife a case knife. Don't use that side, use the back side of it. Because you don't want to cut your counter. Just cut little squares. See, each one of these little pieces will cook and make a dumpling. Just run your knife under it like that. Then you're going to toss it around with that flour a little bit, then start dropping. You don't want to stir, but you can take and push them to the side a little bit so you can put more dumplings, okay? Just run your knife that against it. And they come up from the bottom. And if you have more flour in it, it's not going to hurt one thing. You just drop them where I spread it back, see? Right in there. I'm now making the top to go on our little cobbler. I measured the pan I'm using like this, so we want our crust that wide. I've got it good. Time I trim it, it'll be just right. Dumplings are, I think that'll be just right for the pie, see? Okay. The dumplings are just about ready to take up. Now to see if our dumplings are done, we're going to break off just a little piece here and have somebody named Matthew to try it to see if it's done. He is now putting it on a spoon. Is it done?
It's ready.
Yum. Look in here. See, the dumplings are good. Look what a beautiful color they are. See? What we do now is take and put it in our little, I've sprayed this pan earlier. And you take a measuring cup and just start pouring it in your pan. Well, it looks like I'm going to have just a little bit left over, so I'll just have to make another little bitty cobbler. How terrible, huh? Just put your little thin slices for your topping. I like to layer it sort of on each other. You could do lattice work, but I'm not going to this time. You say, well, I don't like blackberries. Well, you can make all kind of pies like this. You can make blueberry, you can make strawberry, peach, apple, dumplings. You can do it all. It's just really good. You just pick it up and lay it in here. Sort of let it float on each other. You know, just sort of cross it a little bit. Not much, just a touch. This will be your top crust. This one broke a little bit, but it won't hurt. I can always put it right back on there. That one broke too. Look at there, just enough. Just leave that one right there. Instead of butter, use milk to top it. Just brush milk on it. You're going to cook this at 350 till it's golden brown. If you don't have a pastry brush, you know what you can do. Use your fingers, just like this, and then just spread it out. Probably worth the sugar, just sprinkle a little dab. Put it in the oven at 350 for about 35 to 45 minutes till it's brown and golden. We had some, look here, we had that much left, so to make another pie, we are. Just a little deep dish pie, and I'm just going to roll out a little top for it. And guess who will eat that? We'll just sample that and let you know how good it is. I don't know if this is big enough or not, but we're going to try to just put it on our little plate pie here. Just about did it, didn't it? Be just right. Is it done?
That's the done product right there.
If you'll look, these pies just came out the oven. This is a little plate pie of our leftovers, and that's the cobbler. Both of them's cobblers, really. But, and this is how much dough I had left. So just for your information, if you make that bigger recipe and you have dough left, just flatten it out, put it in a bag. You can put it in the refrigerator for a couple days, or if you're not going to use it soon, put it in the freezer. And you can use it for another fried apple pie or make a top for a pie, whatever you want to do. So now we're going to taste test it. Don't that look good? Look at the steam rising, my goodness. How long do we cook that? About 45 minutes?
45 minutes. I'll top yours off. Some juice.
Little juice. That's enough right there. My brother used to put a little canned milk on his. I think that was his in place of ice cream, but ice cream would be good with this. Whipped cream, anything would be good on top if you want it. It's hot, hot, hot.
Takes me back a lot of years to Great Grandma's house right there.
Oh, I love it.
All the relatives know exactly what I'm talking about.
Is it sweet enough?
Very sweet, very good. Not too much, just very good.
Now, just to let you know what he did a while ago, we didn't film it, but I'll tell you what he did. We had also made another video on chocolate cake, which is a quick and easy recipe that'll be on YouTube in a couple of weeks. He said, Mom, he said, I bet you that blackberry cobbler filling would be good on that cake. He said, well, they put raspberry filling. I said, well, try it and see what you think. And what'd you say?
It's one of the best things I've ever eaten.
So, hey, it's a new experiment. It worked. Enjoy.
And the cooker gets to try it too.
It's so hot. Look how flaky that crust is. You see it? Wow. That reminds me of a lot of wonderful times I've had at home with my family. Cheers.